Here's how you structure your 5 and 25K program to create a group program that gives you more time off. I want you to offer, and this is going to be at your 5K level. At your 5K level, you're going to do 3 calls per month. And I recommend for all of you, when you structure your business, work 3 weeks a month, give yourself a week off, and work 11 months a year, give yourself a month off. I think that's a really powerful way to structure your coaching business because it can be taxing to give yourself this much. So in your coaching program, you can start it one-on-one, tell them, hey, this is going to be a group program, but you're the only person who's in it. Or if you have multiple people, put them in it. So the first call a month is your group call where you teach like a new strategy, idea, or Q and Q&A. Your second call, in no particular order, is an intensive. And this is where you deep dive you go from, and this deep dive can be from 2 hours to a day on a topic. Your third call is like a mastermind or application call, referencing what you taught in the intensive. So you're gonna have 3 calls a month. One's like you teaching a concept or an idea, doing Q&A. Your second one is a deep dive on their topic. And the third one is a mastermind or an application call. Does that make sense so far? A program like this, if you did those 3 calls a month, is easily worth $1,000 per month or $12,000 per year. To make it juicier, what I also want you to include in your 5K level, and it's $5,000 for a year is what we sell or what we teach people to sell. I don't want you selling $200 a month. I don't want you selling a $2,000 program, $5,000. You know, how many $5,000 programs do you have to sell to pay all the bills? Let me ask that again. How many $5,000 programs do you have to sell to pay all your bills per month? Not many. So the other thing I want you to include is a 2 or 3 day intensive. Oh man, it just, oh, sorry guys, my computer just like erased everything. I don't know what just happened. I'm just putting too much info out here, guys. All right, 2, 3 calls. So you got the 3 calls. So there's idea, intensive, application, and that's $1,000 per month. And then I want you to do 2 or 3 day intensive. And that 2 or 3 day intensive has a value of say $2,000. So now the total value for 1 year equals $12,000. Does that make sense? Oh no, I'm sorry, not 12,000, equals 14,000. Does that make sense to you guys that you're showing a $14,000 value? And on your discovery call, you will say, today offer is $6,000 on payments or $49.97 on a 1 pay. You're not charging them more for payments, you're giving them an additional discount. You can sell this group program all day long. Yes, Julie, do you have a question?
Yeah, so you're doing this program for 6 months?
No, 1 year.
Or so the 3 calls per month goes for 1 year.
Yep. Specifically,
Okay.
It goes for 11 months of the year.
Okay. Okay, I get it. Thanks.
Now, what are you going to cover on these 3 calls? What are we going to cover? Our 3 stepping stones. That's what you're going to cover. Whatever your stepping stones are. So everything I do on my training, we do compelling content. We do dynamic delivery or you. And like this training we're doing right now is under part of compelling content. It's part of creating something. And you guys, you're not just creating a coaching program right now, you're creating a presentation and you're creating something for them to step into. Dagmar, did you have a question?
Yes. Are you selling a 12-month program for under $5,000?
Yes, because it's a group program. Yes.
That's super cheap.
That's the
I mean-
experience I want people to have. What
Got
are
it.
you selling right now and for how much?
Well, the reason I'm trying to understand is my program started well, I mean, they started $1,000 per month, but that's a group program. And sometimes it's 2 calls, sometimes depending on what type, it could be 1. But you're doing 5,000 for 12 months. So, why there's such a huge discount? The value is 14,000, but you're essentially the person who works 3 times a week for $5,000 a year. It just seems like a very low value. Maybe I just don't understand what this program is about.
How much is your advanced program?
So again, I have very different ones. I have 5 months, I have 6 months, I have beginner programs, I have advanced.
How much is your most expensive?
Well, I prefer not to discuss that.
Okay. So most of the people I'm talking to, and Dagmar, you may have been around longer. You can command more. For a lot of people, selling a $5,000 program kind of freaks them out. Like it's higher than they've ever sold before. The reason I'm inviting people to sell 5K, it's a much easier sale. And I want people to have the experience, wow. And if I have 2 people in or 100 people in the program, it makes no difference on my time. The only time difference is my VA doing the admin to get people into the program. And what I'm going to show you next is the other reason I like this. But Dagmar, if you're already commanding a higher price, get that higher price. That's totally okay. You muted, Dagmar.
Thank you. I appreciate it. I just got confused because for me, $5,000, that would be more like a 3-month group program with not a lot of my time, right? So I'm just trying to understand if somebody made me commit 3 times a month for 12 months, I sure would want that be paid more for that time because
just
seems
stick
like
with
there's
me
a lot of
and walk. Here's the other thing, Dagmar. How are you offering your programs right now?
Oh, well, that's depends which program. Could you narrow it down?
What can I ask? Are you open to sharing what your gross revenues are right now, or like how many of each are you selling?
Well, how about this? What I am actually interested in learning today is I have a lot of premium advanced programs, but what I realized is that I actually need a lower program, something that is a stepping stone. So I'm launching a lower program so that it becomes an introduction to my work. So I'm thinking more like 3 months only, 5 calls total, and somewhere around $3,000 to $4,000.
Okay, so it sounds like you've been coaching for a while. Is that correct? Like,
Yes.
you're doing over 6 figures, correct?
Yes.
I assume you're doing multiple 6 figures minimum to have this many programs out, right?
Well, sometimes more, and thanks to COVID, sometimes less.
Okay, so thanks to COVID, thank you God, we skyrocketed multiple 6 figures. So stick with me and just watch what I'm doing. And you're a little more advanced, so your question is a more specific question, but just watch what I'm introducing next. Because what I'm creating for people is something that I believe anyone could do multiple 6 figures in sales with if they follow this process, including our person who's a consultant.
Yes, I completely value what you're providing. This was not a question to discredit what you're saying, quite opposite.
No, I got
I'm
it.
just trying to understand what's happening. So I appreciate all your teaching. I mean, I follow you all the time. So if it came
I
out that
appreciate
way, I apologize. I was
No,
just like,
no. It
what's
didn't.
going
I'm
on with the
saying,
pricing here?
no, it's fine. I'm saying you're more advanced. It's okay. This is our lower price point offer. There's nothing less than this you could buy from me. 5K is my lowest. So just stick with me and let me go to the next step and see if it starts to unfold, okay? Thanks, Dagmar.